Hi, I'm Steve, Principal Advisor Education Services, and I work here in the city. I'm from the north of England in a place called Newcastle. I applied for a job in the head office, which I was successful with that job, where I work with the ORMS team. We've got different units within ORMS, and I work for the Education Services unit. I work with all of the rest of the correctional centres, work with training organisations, and we provide support to the field and various correctional centres to deliver education to offenders. Fun place to work at times, but can get very busy. In 2020, and I just was feeling a little bit unwell, so I contacted my doctor because it was around about the time when COVID was around. Advised that I definitely didn't have COVID. But he then started asking me some questions about sort of family history about cancer. I let him know that my grandfather did and my grandmother did as well. At that moment he said straight away, he says, "Right, Stephen, I'm going to get you to go and do some tests." One of which was a blood test, and at the time I'd never heard of this blood test, and it was called the PSA blood test, or prostate specific antigen. A few days later I got called back into the doctor's surgery, and yeah, I got a bit of a shock. I was advised that my PSA levels were quite high for my age. I went and booked myself in for what's called a prostate MRI. So I jumped in one of them, and it was a little bit like a disco. It was so noisy. A few days later I got called into the doctor's, and he advises that it came out that it was highly likely that I had prostate cancer, which was a huge shock. I'd only been married for around about a year. From then on, the doctor gave us advice what to do from then. I went on to have a biopsy, and that came back that I had cancer. I was really impressed with Dr. Watson over in the Martyr Hospital. And I'd done some reading on Dr. Watson, and he actually introduced the robotic surgery for prostate cancer into Brisbane. And I went in to have my operation September the 10th, 2020 it was. Went into the Martyr. It was early in the morning. My wife couldn't come in because it was during COVID, very scared. The cancer was downgraded to 3+4, and yeah, it was just great news at the time. And I was also advised that the cancer hadn't spread. So just all of the news that I wanted to hear, I heard that day. So now that normally they don't screen men until they're 50, but I've found more and more men since I was diagnosed that are getting diagnosed with prostate cancer at an earlier age, and you're talking like late 30s, early 40s. I just wanted to get the message out to men. All men, go and get that PSA test. I may save some lives. I'm absolutely loving working for QCS. I love me job. I love working with my team. So yeah, the future's looking bright.